Now, sometimes just merely collecting data does not do you all that much good. Occasionally, you might have a server where an application exceeds an amount of CPU utilization, or you've got a memory leak in some poorly coded other app. In either of those circumstances, you might want to be alerted the moment that a performance counter exceeds some threshold. Well, you can do that also here in data collector sets. You could either create your own separate data collector set which contains that performance alert, or you can add one to an existing data collector set. Let me show you how to add one here to one that we've already created, here our data collector set. Let's assume that we've got this thing running more or less continuously, and it's taking a look at the different memory and CPU counters on the system. Well, once we've got that, we can right-click here and choose to add in a new data collector into the data collector set. And here we'll call this, I don't know, memory alert, if I can spell it right, memory alert. And I'll select here a performance counter alert, which I'll then need to configure over here. If I flip back up here to memory and then identify the alert that I'm looking for, or the counter that I'm interested in, let's say that I'm looking to find out when my page faults per second here is greater than, I don't know, 10. I don't know if that's a good number or not for this particular server, but let's just throw in the number here. When I do that and I hit the next button here and then finish, you'll notice that we create the alert here in the data collector set. And then if I right click again and view properties, I can take a look at the thing that I want the alert to do once we exceed that threshold. So every 15 seconds or so, we're going to watch to see if page faults per second goes above 10. And when it does, we can identify this alert action here. Now, notice there's not much here, because the idea being that in the case where you've got a known alert that goes above a certain threshold, it's fairly likely you may want to just start a data collector set to begin monitoring all the other counters that may have something to do with the reason why that particular counter exceeded the threshold. You can imagine the situation where maybe anytime you have a memory leak in an application, that application goes to 100% CPU. Well, knowing that it hit 100% CPU doesn't tell you much about the core fault, the actual core reason why the problem is occurring. And so having a data collector set that begins and gathers more data at the very moment the problem begins to surface can be very useful in helping you track down to the root cause of the problem. Now, in addition to that, obviously, you got to know that you've exceeded that threshold. So over here under Alert Task, you can see another screen that looks very similar to what we saw just a second ago that allows you to run some task when an alert gets triggered. Now, previous versions of the operating system gave you the ability to configure just an email. But as before, when we were talking back on that last clip, the alert task here is essentially a tool to let you craft up a little PowerShell script, populate it with a few arguments, and then provide yourself some user text to let you know, generally through email, but other solutions exist, that that alert has been tripped. Microsoft has kind of purposely made this a bit more generic here to provide you the flexibility to create whatever PowerShell or other script you see fit in order to alert yourself.